All right, so we know that subject-verb agreement errors can potentially have a pretty negative impact on my life. It's going to hurt me in school, could keep me from getting certain types of jobs. All right, so the question now is, what am I going to do about it? Some people will choose to do nothing. And that's probably not a very good choice because they're going to continue to receive a lot of negative feedback in those environments. All right, so the question is, what are we going to do about this? If I realize that I have some subject-verb agreement issues, I have a choice to make some progress with this. And as we try to explain in all these videos, if there's anything about my language choices that I want to change, then I can do that with a little bit of practice. So if I grew up in a home where my family did not pronounce the S on verbs when I am supposed to, if I'm trying to speak standard English. So for example, I've heard for 22 years, he like, she don't, my cousin think. So I've heard that, and most likely, if that's how my family speaks, I'm going to speak the same way. But if I want to change that, in other words, I want to be able to pronounce that S and write that S when I'm supposed to do it, then what I got to do is do a little bit of practicing. So I recognize that I'm not pronouncing the S. I'm saying things like, she don't, my cousin like, my grandma think. So what I need to do is rehearse the form that I want to use. In this case, it's the S sound. So when can I do it? Well, at free moments during my day, when I'm vacuuming the carpet in the living room, or I'm washing the dishes in the kitchen, or I'm in the bathroom, I'm brushing my teeth. So I'm doing something during my day that I can do and also think about something else. So what could I be thinking about while I'm brushing my teeth? Well, I could be daydreaming, or I could decide that I want to start rehearsing this S sound. So in my head, while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm thinking of these sentences. I'm thinking of a subject from that third group, that third person singular group. Any man, woman, or object. My brother goes. My sister wants. My friend complains. My ex next door.
Just pick it up from right before you started that. We can just do a cutaway of something.
Okay. So in my head, I'm thinking of subjects from that third group, and I'm rehearsing pronouncing the S sound. My brother does. My cousin wants. My sister believes. My next door neighbor throws. I'm rehearsing that S sound because I want to be able to say that when the time calls for it. When I write a paper, I want to write that S. When I'm speaking in a professional environment at a job interview, I want to pronounce that S, but I will not do that unless I rehearse. So we'll keep that, and don't really think that was great, but hang on. I'm just going to finish this now. Appreciate your patience. So for a minute or more every day, so if this is an issue for me, for a minute or more every day, I could try to find moments. All right. Okay. So if this is an issue for me, what I should do is rehearse the form that I want to use. As we try to say in all these videos, if there's something about my language use that I don't like, if I want to change that, I can, but I have to rehearse the form that I want to use. I have to rehearse what I want to say so that when it's time to say it, I'm able to say it. If I don't rehearse, if I just say to myself, all right, well, when I have a job interview, I'll just pronounce the S. No, you won't. Because if for 22 years you haven't been pronouncing the S, that's not magically going to just show up during the job interview. So to prepare myself for those environments, what I need to do is rehearse that S sound. So I'm going to think of any subject from that third group. Any man, any woman, any object, any one person or thing. And I'm going to then pronounce the S sound on the verb. He likes, she goes, my brother does, my sister believes. I'm going to practice that at any moments during my day when I'm doing something that allows me to think about something else. So for a minute or more every day is pretty much all it would take. A minute or more every day while I was brushing my teeth or while I'm vacuuming the carpeting in the living room. What I could be doing while I'm doing those things is rehearse pronouncing the S. So I'm vacuuming. And in my head, instead of daydreaming or thinking about anything else, I'm practicing this subject-verb agreement thing. She likes, my cousin does, my sister wants, my brother believes, my next-door neighbor thinks. So listen, with a little bit of practice, every day for a minute or more, this is an issue that I could definitely make some progress with. And if I do that, and I happen to write a paper and make a subject-verb agreement error, it's something that I can probably look at and say, no, she don't. All right, so I got a lot of stuff there. We could probably edit all that and make it sound good.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a closing sentence?
Yeah, I do. I do. And the closing sentence is going to be, with a little information and a little bit of practice, you can make a lot of progress. You can do it. So that's what I'm going to say. But, you know, it's kind of nagging at me that I've done this in such a shitty way up to this point. So I'm tempted to just come back to this and do it one more time. I know you got to be saying, Jesus,
no,
this is freaking brutal. So I just want it to be good. So I think everything up to this point has been good. And I just want to finish this thing. We've done it 10 different times, and I think a lot of it can be kind of worked out. We've already explained why it's a problem. Let's just keep it simple, dude. How do you practice? All right. So if I know that I have some issues with subject-verb agreement, and I also know that this is the kind of error that can potentially have some fairly significantly negative impacts on my life, the question is this: what can I do about it? And the answer, the one that we promote in these videos, is if there's something about my language that I don't like, the choices that I'm making when I speak, if I don't like it, then there's something that I can do about it with just some practice. So, subject-verb agreement, the main kind of error is when someone is not pronouncing the S sound when the subject comes from that third group. So, the common errors, she like, he think. So I know that's probably the main area that I need to concentrate on. So here's what I'm going to do. Throughout my day, I have moments when I'm doing something that requires very little thought. I might be brushing my teeth. I might be in the bathroom doing something else. I might be vacuuming the carpet in the living room. And while I'm doing those things, I can try to find maybe a minute or more every day to think about subject-verb agreement issues. In other words, I know that I grew up in a home where the S was not pronounced. I heard for 22 years, she don't, he like. And so what I need to do now is rehearse pronouncing the S. So while I'm vacuuming or while I'm brushing my teeth, I can think about pronouncing the S. So, she likes, he thinks, my cousin wants, my brother believes. I'm going to think of any subject from that third group, and I'm going to make a short little statement and pronounce the S on the verbs. And if I do that repeatedly, my cousin wants, my teacher goes, my boss considers, I run through those for a minute or more every day while I'm doing something else. Eventually, that S sound is going to start sounding more natural. She doesn't is going to start sounding a lot better to me than it did before. Right now, maybe I think she don't sounds pretty good. But if I rehearse, she doesn't, he doesn't, she doesn't, my friend doesn't, my dog doesn't, the cat doesn't. If I rehearse that enough, a minute or more every day is all it would take for 2 or 3 months. In a couple months, that S sound is going to start sounding much more natural. So listen, if you are one of the many people that have some issues with subject-verb agreement, hey, it's all right. We all have things that we need to work on. And if it's something that you want to make a change with, so we could cut to that, all right? Everything was great up until that idiotic little statement.
Go.
And if this is something that you want to do something about, then you can. With a little bit of information and some consistent practice, you can definitely make a lot of progress. You can do it. Okay, I like that last one. So at this point in the video and in the editing process, pretty much forget about all that other crap. That last thing was good. There was one screw up there at the end that we're going to have to cut to and come back. So forget about all that other crap. All right, I think that was good enough. Did you feel like that last part was better than it was before? I don't know.
I thought it was definitely full of emotion and enticing.
Okay, well, I guess that's what I want. So.
Right. So you want me to stop and you want to review?
No, I think it's good. I mean,